Greetings and welcome to my dear Virgoans out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. So the sixth house is open. Essentially, we are going to be looking at Virgo's energy for the month of April 2023, I believe. Yes, and I've generated a chart for the 6th of April because of the full moon, which activates essentially a part of Virgo's chart, the second house primarily, with the moon in Libra, full moon in Libra activating essentially your second house. And, excuse me, and quite a bit of other things actually. The full moon is created with an opposition, an aspect between Sun and Moon, as well as Jupiter conjunct the Sun in Aries in your eighth house, okay? And then it activates the axis of the 8 and the 2, which is your second house. And the Moon in Libra essentially is how you deal with your resources, your most immediate environment, your karmas in the world. And therein, there lies the sort of familiarity of essentially dealing with karmas that have to do with your money, your assets, your resources, what you can hold on to in terms of family and responsibility, okay, that Virgos are usually quite beholden to. Meaning that with the moon's energy, it activates the sort of need to balance out or harmonize with others, your most immediate environment, okay, and your resources. And your resources might be under duress for the time being. There's something about what you inherit in this life that it comes through the energy of Aries. And there's a lot that has to do with fortune and the ability to expand your philosophies that are tied to the esoteric craft, okay, as well as the solar energy conjunction here in the 8th house in Aries that activates this sort of opposition, okay, the full moon. Now, when the full moon happens, there is essentially a waxing of energy, a sense of enlightenment, a coming into awareness, a fullness of this. The moon is a disk in the sky that is constantly revolving around the earth and is essentially, it inherits some of the aspects of the earth in terms of gravitas or gravity. And in this inheritance, there's an ability to come up with a way to sense this harmony that is necessary, okay? That is needed. Meaning that Virgos tend not to like the secrets that are contained within the 8th house. They're kind of irrational in a way. And because of such, this irrationality creates opposition to your natural need to harmonize with others. The thing is that the impulses and drives, especially when it comes to teachers or secret agents within your 8th house, are causing affliction to your sense of peace of mind when it comes to your resources. So bosses might come into contention with you. They might provoke you. Teachers, they might actually do the same. There's something about this wherein even the very nature of bed pleasure or perhaps of penetration into the realms of the unknown are proving to be difficult in the actual emotional stability that you may be seeking. So it's a time of great conflict when it comes to that. There also is a challenge in terms of your philosophy, your truth, the sort of desire to stabilize certain things when it comes to your purpose and your dharma in this life is proving to be quite difficult. I mean, there are difficult aspects to the 9th house. At the same time, there's a possibility that that you might be blessed in a certain way when it comes to cultures or communities of art, communities of learning, communities of also a sense that um, uh, um, the action or the drives or the motivations of culture in general actually proving to be quite fruitful into clearing out certain karmas that are tied to your 3rd house, okay, and also to your 9th house. Now, the 3 and the 9 for you is occupied by Scorpio and Taurus, that axis, okay, and there is a sense that there needs to be a way to essentially negotiate peace and stability in a certain way. The thing is that this comes through the form of transformation. There's something about your voice, your your more innocent self, especially your children if you have them, anything that has to do with essentially the third house. Okay, and the third house has to do with your communities, your friends, anything that is familiar in terms of things that you can manipulate or things that you can, sort of grow through your skill or through your sense of mastery. And this is all coming into fruition into sort of your dreams and ambitions, which have to do with this motherly nature of Cancer. Okay, with Mars in Cancer currently at 5 degrees, by the time of the 6th of April and beyond, there's something that's occurring in terms of especially a type of relationship that might help you. If you have any affiliations to teachers, that teachers are other people who allow for an emotional connection of some sort or another. Um, these are esoteric teachers, these are teachers of the wisdom of the ages. There's something about that, a tidbit of wisdom that can come through that, or perhaps a structure or something that you can identify and visit and actually pay homage to, do rituals at. I mean, this will actually help in being auspicious for developing a sense of clarity in terms of your own desires, especially in terms of the actions of others as well. The karmic undertones of anything that you have to do in your most immediate environment or your friendships, okay, and also relations to your offspring if you have them. Um, yeah, so I rather like that aspect. At the same time, there's something that's going on in terms of the question of stability, the question of like how you philosophize your sense of stability in terms of hard work and steadfast labor that requires extensive stamina, okay, of being able to to pull carts and to move loads of material wealth, let's say. And that's actually coming into contention. There's difficulty in harmonizing the nodal axis of the ninth and the third house, your ninth and third houses, in the axis of a Taurus North Node and the South Node in Scorpio. So it's kind of pointing to a difficulty in terms of the wisdom or the knowledge that you get and you learn from or you learn through. This knowledge is actually intended to transform you or to set you on a path of initiation towards perfection of some sort. Whatever that is, in terms of your own craft, your own sense of clarity in mind, your analysis of certain things. The funny thing is that your relationships will actually prove to be your most harmonious thing at the moment. With this major triangle here, this blue major triangle, there's a harmonious aspect that brings in a sense of desire to come into the houses of moksha, okay, and that's the interesting thing here. It's something that you desire, essentially. That's what I'm seeing in terms of being able to logically approach a sense of liberation from the constraints and the dryness of existence. Okay, of human experience. There's an ability here to essentially learn through a particular relationship that goes towards the cause or perhaps the collective ambition to find a sense of nurture or find a sense of home in all of this and to worship that home and to be, sort of really into it and to purify it and to clean it and to make sure it's clean, sort of thing. With this, what comes out of it is a lesson that these friends can be family or these relationships, these other people, these older people can actually be a sense uh, um, of family. And it's not just family, it's like the human family, the human race, the race that we are going through, the idea of that. And I like this kite formation too. It's really creating something very beautiful for Virgos right now in terms of really sort of coming into a sense that you can be free in the way you interact with other people on a collective level, and also you can also harmonize and create something quite grand with other people. It's a very humbling process, and it actually sort of is indicative of something interesting. Primarily, what I do see here also is something that is on the cusp of some sort of romantic flair or relationship that has a sexual undertone that you might actually try to be devoted to. Now, the funny thing about Virgo ascendants is that their devotion is related to a sense of work that comes in the form of regularity, to the point of being mundane, to the point where it's almost like you can't be asked to do that. If I could be any more vague, I would be. But what I'm talking about here is a sense that there is something about the daily ritual of Virgo, and especially Virgo and ascendants, that actually create the stigma of of detachment, primarily detachment, and also doing things in a small way to have an effect on a significant other. There also is a possibility here of some form of transformation that is occurring through the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius that is activating your 5th and 6th houses, okay? So there is something about you that is actually trying to perfect a creative aspect of singularity in your life. This has to do with becoming independent and becoming clean and like becoming detached in some sort of way. This comes in contention with the actual blessings that you're having on an affiliation level with other people, especially people that are older, that are here to give you a sense of drive or a sense that you're dealing with the past. And in this past, essentially, you might find that some of the connections, your most immediate connections in terms of friends, can be friend or foe. You have to find out how to discern that. And the thing is that with Pluto here at 0 degrees of Capricorn and Aquarius in your 5th and 6th houses, okay, there's a movement here from solar energy into mercurial energy. So there is a type of oscillation, sort of imprint that the sun's energy puts onto Mercury's energy. And with that, some sort of lesson can come, and it activates through this full moon energy, okay? Primarily, what I see here is an ability to go through some sort of process that has to do with your friends, and then there's a sense that that something that is deeper, something that is more profound, that has to do with a playful energy that is trying to approach something in terms of a behavioralism, some sort of psychological or analytical framework or framing of these people, like a portraiture, and then you trying to observe that in some sort of way. If it's getting in the way of your work, or if it's getting in the way of like the natural flow of things on a lighter level, then perhaps it's not for you. It really depends, because the face of your philosophy in the 9th house is actually it's glorifying. It's glorified in a certain way through the auspices of Mercury and Venus primarily, but the North Node, it creates positivity in terms of lessons that you can have in terms of your relationships, but also the lighter ones, or the ones that are more romantic in nature, especially if they're tied to the stigma of sexual sort of exploration, might actually create a lot of negativity for you. At the same time, positivity. It's very strange. So, like, be careful when you're dealing with this energy, because there is a possibility of crossing the lines with friends, and that actually might negate the very lessons that you're here to learn, whatever that means. So that's what I got for you in the month of April. I do wish you well. Thank you, Virgo. Ciao.